smile. You're on camera. To take us through, I will be assisted by Toastmaster Dilip Nalli. He is a dynamic banker who's also the founding member of Doha Toastmasters Club, Doha Bank Toastmasters Club. Now, this session would be spearheaded by a dynamic Toastmaster Zara Saleh, an enthusiastic female who finds joy in socializing with people with different grounds in life. She joined the fraternity 3 years ago, aspires to be a motivation speaker, rises up daily with the quote, "Every new day is another chance to change your life." Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Zara Saleh to take us through forward. Toastmaster Zara?
Sorry. Thank you, Toastmaster Haris Babu, for your thoughtful introduction. Dear dignitaries, Toastmasters, and guests from all over the world, good evening. I would like to welcome each one of you to our special training session with Mr. Christo Tomi as part of District 116 Toastmasters Annual Conference Virtual Vocal 2021. Before we begin, let me enlighten you that our training session is not only for not only our ears, but we also have an interactive question and answer session followed by the informative presentation by the trainer. Kindly direct all your questions to me via Zoom in private during the session and do not wait till the end. To keep it easy for me to handle, please keep your questions purposeful, short, and straight to the point. Now, the time has arrived for me to introduce to you our trainer, Mr. Christo Tomi. He is a writer, a director, and a two-time winner of National Film Awards. With his speech today titled, "Story Does Matter," let me hand over to Mr. Christo Tomi to take over the screen. Sir, you can go ahead.
Hi, welcome all to the session. Can we start the PPT?
Sorry, Haris, there is some disturbance coming. I don't know from where.
I'll just be muting all the participants. Over to you, Toastmaster, Mr. Christo.
Hi, welcome all to the session. Story does matter. Can we go to the first slide? So before we begin, I want you to do note down two things. One is, choose a story from your life, or choose a story that maybe at some point later you want to present at the Toastmasters. It could be a story that that led you to some realization about yourself or the world. It could be a story about that makes you feel proud and happy about yourself, or it could be a story that tells something about yourself. It could be a story of your struggle, it could be a story of your perseverance. But choose one story, and also choose a story of a film or a novel that you like. Just note down. Next slide. Hope you have done that. So we are all storytellers. Famous writer Noah Harris in his best-selling book Sapiens asks, how did we Homo sapiens turn ourselves from insignificant apes minding their own business in a corner of Africa in the rulers of planet Earth? And the answer, according to him, was simple: fiction. The ability of human beings to make up things that don't exist and convince others about it. Today, we are going to talk about the basic principles of storytelling, something that we are all aware of, but maybe we don't realize it yet. Next slide. So we, from our childhood, we have heard stories. We have been telling stories to our family or our parents, friends. So I want you to identify the basic elements of storytelling that you think, that are contained in the stories that you tell. Maybe note down something, not some any points that you think are the elements of storytelling about these two stories that you choose from. One story from your life and another story about a film or a novel. So identify the principles of storytelling in the stories that you have chosen. Next slide. So what are we trying to do when we tell a story? What we are trying to do when we tell a story is tell about something that happened in your life that made you feel some particular way. And by telling it to somebody else, what you're trying to do is that you're making the other person to have the same feeling. So it's basically two things. First is you're trying to communicate a certain kind of information. And secondly, you're trying to evoke a certain kind of feelings in him. Like, say, for example, you're talking about a story about how you got lost in a forest. What you will be telling is that you'll be giving out the information of how dense the forest was or how you got lost and how dark it was. But you're also trying to make him feel how scared you felt, how you thought, maybe it was, you would never make it out of the forest. So what you are trying to do when you're telling a story is trying to communicate information. And by communicating information, we are trying to evoke certain kind of feelings in that person, in our audience. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. So I've been pursuing storytelling for some time and have been fascinated by it. But this is one of my favorite rules about storytelling. And of course, please note that there are no rules. These are guiding principles that can help you when you're telling a story. Use it if it helps you. If it doesn't, you can find your own principles. But this is something that interests me a lot. The rule says that drama is basically about one thing. Somebody wants something, and something or someone is standing in the way of him getting it. And what he wants, the money, the girl, the ticket to Philadelphia, it doesn't really matter. But whatever it is, the audience has to want it for him. So, for example, earlier we talked about a story in which you're getting lost in the forest. And when you're trying to tell that story, what you're trying to do is come out of the forest alive and unhurt, right? So you want something, and your obstacle is that this forest of which you do not know how the way out. So you want something, that is to get out of the forest alive and unhurt, and something is standing in your way, that is the obstacles. So every story that if you look at, basically it would be about somebody wanting something. And if you think about your story at the Toastmasters, I've been listening to a few stories made at the Toastmasters, and it's always about somebody wanting something and you're facing obstacles in it, and how do you overcome it. So this idea is something that has fascinated me all throughout. Next slide, please. So let's try writing a story. Think about a story about a man or a woman. He has to get across a river to get to an island. Now, when I say this, there is no story here yet, right? A man and a woman has to, it's just crossing a river to get to an island. Now, next slide, please. Now, think about a man or a woman has to get across the river to save his or her lover who is stranded on that island. Now, when I add this thing, suddenly the protagonist, our hero, gets an objective. He wants something, and that matters to him. That he has to save somebody he loves who is stranded on the island. So what he wants, the audience also now wants it for him. So that kinds of add values to the story. And now, next slide, please. Now, if I add one more detail, a man or a woman has to get across a river filled with crocodiles to save his or her lover stuck on that island. Then the obstacles increases. The obstacles become difficult. Now, as soon as I say this, then you're invested in this person, and you want to find out whether he makes it to the other side and saves his lover stranded on that island. I'm sure that we have seen many films with this kind of premise, and it works. It works because it follows the basic principles of storytelling, that somebody wants something and there are obstacles, and the audience has to want it for the hero. So next slide, please. Now I'm adding one more detail to the story. So a man has to get across a river filled with crocodiles to save his or her lovers stranded on that island. Now I'm saying, what if we say that this man or woman has always been afraid of the water since he or she nearly drowned to death in his childhood, in his or her childhood, which means that he has a fear. He has a fear that he's carrying from the childhood, which he hasn't been yet forced to face in his life. Say for example, you wanting to speak at the Toastmasters, and you have this fear of stage fright, and ever all through your life you have been avoiding speaking, public speaking. Like, I'm scared of public speaking, so I would avoid it if I can. So similarly, think about you being want to speak at this event, but your fear is stopping you. Now to speak at this event, you have to get over this fear. So similarly, now by adding this simple nuance that this person has to get over his fear, that he has been carrying from his childhood, forces the person to make a choice. Does he or she wants to face the fear or run away from it? And he asks, there is something that he wants. There is something at stake. He might lose his life, or he might not be able to save his or her lover. So there are things at stake, and there are obstacles, and there are external obstacles, which is the crocodiles, and there is an internal obstacle, which is his fear. So every story would, if it contains these four things, it would become more powerful. I believe that an external obstacle, which is about this river filled with crocodiles, and an internal obstacle, which is about his or her own fear that he has been carrying since his childhood, and wanting something. What he wants is that to save his or her lover stuck on stranded on that island. No, can we go to the next slide, please? This means that he must overcome his fear from his childhood in order to save his or her lover, so that he has to make a choice, and that will define him. Every day in our life, we make choices. We make choices whether, when the obstacles get harder, we make choices whether to give up or not. We make choices whether we have to try harder. We make choices to quit something. The choice is what defines all of us. So storytelling kinds of reflects the same principles that matters in our life. It's not, it's not taken from somewhere else. The basic principles of storytelling reflects the basic principles what defines us human beings: choice, our own internal fears, how we overcome obstacles, and how we face our own fears. So true character is revealed in a choice a human being makes under pressure. The greater the pressure, the greater the revelation. The truer the choice to the character's essential nature. So what you should do when you're trying to write a story is make it as hard as, for your main character. So once it gets as hard, and then he tries to overcome the obstacles, the audience will root for your main character. Next slide, please. So similarly, I told you about making a speech at the Toastmasters. So has to make a speech to get a job, but he or she has a stammer. So which means that there is something that he has to overcome to make that speech, and there is something to get, which is a job, and there is, so if he doesn't do it, he will lose it. So there is always something at stake in a story. Next slide, please. So these are some of the basic elements, that one should be aware of when you're telling stories. First is the world, the environment, or a set of rules where the story takes place. So whenever you're starting a story, set the world, say where it's happening. It can happen, in a village in India. It can happen in Mars. It can happen, in Antarctica. It doesn't matter wherever it happens, but establish your world first, and, establish the rules of that world. Say for example, if it is happening in a fantasy place, maybe people can fly there, or people can become invisible there. So establish all the rules at the beginning, so the people are aware what the world is. And then your protagonist is your main journey, whose journey the story is about, actually. And obstacles we already talked about. Obstacles are something that stands in the way of a character obtaining what they want. in that earlier story that we discussed, a river filled with crocodiles is obstacles. So stake is basically what is at risk if the character fails to achieve their goal. In that story, he would lose, he would not be able to save his or her lover, or he would die. So higher the stakes, more interesting the story is. And moral is a thing that the lesson the main character learns at the end of the story. In Toastmasters, many of the stories that have been told at Toastmasters, the moral is what the main character learns so that he becomes successful at what he does. This is awareness he doesn't have all throughout the journey, but he learns it at the end, and he applies it in his life, and he becomes successful. So next slide, please. And every story kind of falls into this, like I told you, once upon a time there was, which is establish the world first. And every day, maybe it's a normal life for your protagonist, main hero, that you go to office, and one day, maybe he married, and because of that he couldn't adjust with his lover, his wife, and then problems began to creep in, egos began to come out, until finally maybe one day he realized that a happy life with his wife is important than his ego, and he decided to let go of his ego. So letting go of the ego is what he learned. That is the moral of the story. It's just a very rough example, but I'm just trying to tell you that moral is the thing that the characters learn through this journey. Next slide, please. So I just want you to take a moment and try to identify the world and the characters and the protagonists and the obstacles and moral in the story that we have just talked about. I hope it's clear for everybody, but just take a moment to write down the world, who are the characters, and who is the main protagonist is the main character. Obstacles is what he or she faces in the way of what they want, and moral is what you're telling to the audience at the end of the story, but it should also be the same thing that the main person learns through the story. Next slide, please. So now I want you to identify these elements in the story that you have noted down for yourself, like about yourself. What is the world? It might be, like I told you, the place in Qatar, or it could be a place in India, or it could be a place in anywhere else. So identify the world and the protagonist and the want and the obstacles and the moral in your story. It's okay that if you're not able to do it right now, this takes time, but just take a moment and try to identify these elements in the story that you have chosen, and also maybe in the film and the novel also that you have chosen. And maybe you can even if the chat box is open, if people want, they can also put it in the chat box.
Yeah, the chat box is open.
So in the story of your life, you would be the protagonist, right? Okay, next slide, please. I hope you have done that. Now, we are going one step deeper. Now, in your life, have you come across someone who is perfect? Somebody similarly, I'm sure, none of you have. How I can say, because we are all flawed in one way or the other. So similarly, perfect characters are not interesting. Our flaws, our wounds, our vulnerabilities make us real. It makes us somebody else feel for us. We human beings develop a certain kind of patterns of behavior due to belief programming, which means that as we grow up, we develop certain kind of behaviors. Like in the earlier story that I told you, the hero of the story has a fear of water. It's something that is been picked up from his or her childhood. Similarly, somebody might have problems in relationship, like maintaining closeness, intimacy in the relationship. It can come from something that has happened from his or her own family in the childhood. So we absorb behaviors from those around us in the past, or we develop certain kind of behaviors because these are the behaviors that kept us from getting hurt. In the story that I told you, this person staying away from the water actually saved him from getting hurt all this while, right? Because he nearly died one time, and he learned that, okay, don't go near the water, it's dangerous. And by not going into the water, he kind of protected himself. Now there is a moment in his life where he has to overcome that fear and take that chance and risk his own life because there is something at stake. Next slide, please. So we experience things in our childhood that affects our actions, but we are unaware of them because we haven't absorbed them or dealt with them yet. And this leads us to create a flawed belief system, a set of damaged rules that are easier to live with than to change. Like it's easier not to go into the water than overcome your fear and go into the water. Similarly, with everything in your life, the flaw that stems from this event in the past form the basis of the protagonist arc. So that is something that changes through the story. It could be a very simple thing like having a stage fright because as a child when you were on the stage and presented something, you stammered, you couldn't speak, your legs shivered and you sweat, and people were howling at you. And just because of that incident, maybe you will live all through your life not being afraid of getting onto that stage. And what you're trying to do by that is protecting yourself from getting insulted again, from getting hurt again. But only by overcoming that fear of climbing onto that stage and making a speech again and risking failure that you will be able to overcome it. It's true about everything in our life. If we want to achieve something, there would be obstacles, and there would be fears in ourselves that we have to overcome to get over that obstacles. Similarly, the same principle applies to storytelling. Next slide, please. So in the story that you have written about yourself, identify your own flaw. Like what were you afraid of? What was it making the obstacles difficult for you? Try to identify them. And even the film that you have chosen, the main, what is the protagonist fear? Sorry, flaw. Just try to note it down. I know that all these concepts are, a bit difficult to grasp at one go, but as you go through more stories and applies these things, it becomes easier for you to understand stories, and it becomes easier for you to understand why some things work. And when something is working, nobody will question, nobody will ask you why it's not working. But as soon as something is not working, like a story of yours is not working, then that is the time this will help you to make it better. Next slide, please. So as I told you, this is something that we discussed already. So as I told you, want is something that drives a character to act. It's an external goal. Like crossing a river filled with obstacles is an external goal. Like in the marriage, wanting the marriage to work is an external goal. Getting on that stage and making a speech is an external goal. Getting a job is an external goal. And now in need is something that a character must do or learn in order to succeed or grow. Overcoming that fear is a need. And the moral of his story is connected to this need. Facing the fears is the moral of the story. So what the character does is overcome that fear or face that fear through your story. Next slide, please. So I want you to identify in this story what is the want and the need of the character. We have already talked about it. So this is a story that we have been discussing. So what is the want and need of the character in this story? Yes, want is to cross the river. Yeah, the want is actually to save his or her lover stuck on that island, stranded on that island. Yeah. And what is the need? Yeah, need is to overcome the fear of water. Yeah. So next slide, please. And now here are a few things that will help you to make your story better. These are the rules from Pixar, a famous animation company, and they are into storytelling. So now you admire a character for trying and more than for their success. It's not important whether your character wins, succeeds, or fails. Like in your life, parents have taught us, right? It's not important whether you fail or succeed. What is important that you try, that you do not give up, that you do not quit. So similarly, you an audience will admire a character who is trying and who is trying hard to get over the obstacles. And also the another thing to remember is whatever is when you're building a character or when you're telling a story about yourself, what is your character good at, comfortable with? And now throw the polar opposite at them, challenge them. You don't want to see a film about a character or hear a story about a character where they're dealing with things they're comfortable with. Like in the first story, if that person was you know a wildlife lover and he was not afraid of water and he loved crocodiles and he was comfortable with them, that story wouldn't have been powerful. It is because he was scared of water and he is scared of crocodiles that story works. Next slide, please. And come up with your ending before you figure out your middle. Like if you know where your story begins, try to figure out your end first, because once you figure out your end, you can figure out how the story goes from the beginning to end. Like when you want to go to some place, when you know which place you want to go, it's easier to find the route to that place, right? But if you do not know where to go, then you might wander all over and not get anywhere. Similarly with storytelling, try to figure out where you want to get at the end, and then try to work the path to it. Now another important thing is when you tell a story, why you must tell the story. What is the belief in you that your story feeds off? How is the story emotionally connected to you? Like when you're picking a story about yourself at the Toastmasters, you should pick a story that is emotionally important to you, like it's emotionally connected to you, that moves you. Only then the audience will be moved by your story. So also when you're writing a story, if you're writing a story about another character, you have to put in their shoes and think, how would you feel if you are there? Next slide, please. So another important thing is honesty is what lends credibility to an unbelievable situation. You should be honest to those emotions. Like what is the person feeling? You should be able to get at that emotions honestly. And the stakes are important. Like what will happen if he or she loses? A person trying to work out his marriage, if he or she loses, might end up alone and his marriage will fail. So there is something to lose. Similarly, if the person fails to cross that river, he might die. So he has his life to lose. He might lose his lover. So always the stakes should be high. That gives us a reason to root for the character. What happens if they don't succeed? That is important. So raise your stakes in your story if you want the audience to root for you. Next slide, please. Now, coincidences to get your character into trouble are great, but coincidences to get them out are cheating. If your character gets out of trouble, it should be because of their hard work. They should not get out of trouble just because you want them to. They should really work harder for it and get out of the trouble. That would make the audience root for the character. Other the audience will feel cheated that, oh, how simply they got out of it. So make your character work hard in getting out of the obstacles or overcoming the obstacles. And write down your story, like put it down on paper and then edit it. It's so difficult to edit the story in your head. If you think that the story, you will really write it when the story becomes perfect in your head. It's not going to happen. The story will get better only when you edit it. Once you have something on paper, it's easier to edit it than to write something new. So always get something on the paper and then start editing it. Rewrite it maybe 10 times, 20 times till it get better. Next slide, please. And finally, remember that this is a craft, even which Hemingway thought that nobody is going to master. So this is a thought that I want to leave with. This is a craft to pursue throughout your life, and something that people hardly masters. So there is always something new to learn, and there is always something more. Okay, thank you. And if you have any questions. In this short time, it's difficult to understand these concepts completely, but at least if you got a hint of it, and then you can, pursue it on your own, it will help you, when we are writing a story.
Thank you, Mr. Christotomi, for that informative and fantastic session. Let's all give him a huge round of applause. Now we will proceed to the Q&A session. We have received a couple of questions, which I will be asking the questions, if you may. The first question that we got was, will these slides be shared? Can these slides be shared with the audience?
Yeah, sure. I have shared it with the team at the Toastmasters. So please feel free to share it. But this is something that I wrote for the session. So these are not rules. These are just my thoughts. Do not think that these are ground rules. These are not. This is something that I learned through my process. Hope it helps you also.
Thank you very much, Mr. Christo. The next question that we got was 4 P's in story: person, place, plot, and purpose. Why do we need purpose when it has the plot, which will be uncovered? You want me to read, Mr.
Yeah. Please repeat it. I couldn't get the question.
Okay. There are 4 P's in story: person, place, plot, and purpose. Why do we need purpose when it has the plot, which will be uncovered?
Actually, I didn't understand the question. I didn't understand what purpose the purpose meant.
Okay, in other words, the questioner is trying to ask that why do we require the purpose if the plot of the story is already uncovered? What is the purpose of saying the story?
The plot is not uncovered, right? A plot is something that plot is like the vehicle that carries the story. The emotion comes from your character trying to overcome the obstacles. The purpose of the story, like I told you in the beginning, like whenever we tell a story, it might not be, even when you casually tell a story of how we got stuck in the traffic jam, or how terrible was it to get stuck at a traffic jam. What we are trying to tell to another person is make them feel how terrible we felt, right? I mean, make them understand, how bad it was to get stuck there. So when you're telling stories, how we are trying to evoke an emotion in the other person. So plot is just the vehicle, it's just the skeleton. The purpose means, I think, as far as I understand, if you're saying what the person wants in the end, that is kind of gives it the meaning. Like, say for example, if it's an underdog story, like it's about a boy who is living in the slums and he wants to make it big. That that want in him, that he wants to someday make it big, that he wants to be, he wants to make it big enough to buy car, or buy at least make it big so that his mother could live in a better house. That is a want, right? That becomes the purpose of the main character. and that is what carries the story. And as he tries to get there, get what he wants, he faces a lot of obstacles in his life. So I don't think right in the beginning, when we're seeing a story, we don't understand what the entire story is about. Even if we understand how it will be structured, like when you see a murder story, all the like murder investigative thrillers will have a murder in the first 30 minutes of a film, and you know that the story in the end will get solved, right? That is a basic structure, that you're not going to escape that structure when you're telling a murder story. or or say, for example, so every genre has kind of a structure. There is no escaping it. You can push it, you can challenge it. Like in a film called Zodiac, the killer doesn't get caught at the end, but those are exceptions, and it's difficult to make it work. But so there is always a structure, and what you're trying to do, the structure is your safety net that holds the story together, and the characters and the details kinds of gives it the feeling, emotions. uh,
Okay. Thank you very much for that fantastic answer, sir. The next question is, how realistic and true can we stay to reality of our situation on a story? Should the truth be diluted?
no, reality, see, this is a very misunderstood concept. Reality doesn't matter. Like, you can tell a story about a fantasy world where fishes talk, or cars talk, or cars fall in love, or robots fall in love. So if you're talking about that kind of reality, it doesn't matter. So but what matters is that in the first part of his story, when you're setting up the world, set this world, make the audience believe in this world, and once they believed in this world, they are with you on the journey. But what is important is that you stay true to the emotions. When even if you are telling a story of a robot, the emotional journey of that character, how when he feels sad, when he feels happy, there is a truth in those emotions, right? So that truth we should try to achieve in our storytelling. If we are not achieving that emotional truth in every scene or in every beat of a story, then the audience will kind of disengage with the story. So realism, uh, as in setting up a world, it doesn't matter that if we tell a story in India or Antarctica, or an imaginary world. What matters is that you make the audience believe in that world, and once they are on you, you take them on this journey through your magical world. But on that journey, stay true to the emotions. Always ask, is it that are the emotions true? Is this what you would feel in that situation, or is this what a human being or a person would feel in that situation? Always find out the truer emotions, deeper emotions in each the beat of your story.
Thank you for that answer again, Mr. Harris. The next question is, and this is going to be the last question, unfortunately. What is the role of humor in any story? How to bring that in the story?
So every story, you can tell the story in any tone that you want. It is up to you. Humor is similarly like a storytelling. Like if you want to tell a joke, you know even the joke has this. It has an opening. You say something, and then you set up something, and you make an expectation out of the audience for something, and you give them something else. That is how the jokes work, right? The basic simple structure of this storytelling is applicable anywhere. Like, you want to the ads that you see in films, or ads that you see in your TV all over every day, it works on the same principle. In the beginning of the ad, they show you a problem, like your floor house is not clean enough, your car is not clean enough, and the end of that ad, they show you the solution. So it's a similar thing. The character has a problem in the beginning, and you solve it in the end. So it's a minuscule version of that comes into the ad also. So so similarly, joke telling has a kind of similar structure, but to bring in the tone, to the story, you have to bring in it to the in the characters. You have to bring in the situation, depending on what kind of humor that you want to bring in. Sometimes it's dark humor, sometimes it's slapstick, sometimes it's so depending on that, you have to work with the humor. So that happens at the detailing stage of the story.
Okay, so the timer just told us that we have time for one more question. Okay, if we not have all the ingredients for a story as explained here, is it okay to exploit?
Is it okay to?
Means to go ahead, means to ask to write fiction in it.
Yeah, as I understood the question, it's okay to write the story. All these things are not important, or maybe sometimes you realize these things as you write. It's not possible to find out the answers to all this and start writing. This is something only for you to use it as a safety net. Like when you think that why is your story not evoking enough emotion in the other person? Why it's not hooking the audience? You can go back to these things and ask if something of this can be worked upon, made better. Do I know these things well enough? So it's not important to figure out all these things before you start writing. You will figure out these things on your way. Like it's not possible for anybody actually to figure out these things and write. These things will get figured out as you write. And I told you, writing is about rewriting. It's a very important thing of the writing process. Like nobody writes great on the first write. Hemingway wrote, I think, 50 to more than 50 drafts of his stories. Or it's true with every writer. There is this myth about writing or art that it's some kind of genius, or it's something that comes, it's a moment of inspiration, or it just comes to you and just you sit down and you just have to type it. It's not true. At least it's not true for me. You have to, like you do any other job, you have to get up in the morning and you have to write for 5 to 8 hours every day. And as you do that, you have to get better. It's like a craft, like anything else. Like how do you become an engineer? You practice the craft, right? Like how do you learn piano? You don't sit at home and think about this great music in your head and then you suddenly play the piano like Beethoven or Mozart, right? You go there, you practice your piano every day for 5 6 hours, right? It's the same thing with writing. You write, and then you edit, and then you keep on rewriting it, and as you go along, you will learn these things. So it's a craft to it, and it's not a myth, or it's not a talent. At least for me, it's not a talent, something that you're born with. It's something that you can practice, and it's something that you can get better at and be very good at if you give it that if you put in that much of hard work. So it's not important to know everything before you write. These are the things just to help you. It's not that because you don't identify these things, your story is bad, or it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. The most important things, like I told you, if your story works, you don't even maybe have to think about these things. But somebody tells you, your story is not working, something is not working, the emotion is not working, then you can go back to these things and think, okay, maybe the obstacles are not hard enough. Maybe I should put my character more obstacles in his path. Maybe the stakes are not high enough. Maybe the audience is not wanting what the character wants. So this is just a safety net to help you navigate the process of writing.
Okay. Thank you very much for that fantastic answer, Mr. Christo. So unfortunately, due to time constraints, we are unable to ask all the questions to our trainer. So now that's the end of our interactive Q&A session. A huge round of applause again for our trainer. With this, we have come to the end of our training session. I would like to thank each one of you for joining it. For now, if you could all turn on your cameras for us to take a group picture. If the co-host could do the honors.
Smile, please.
Are we good to go?
Yes.
Okay. So now I will call upon DTech Chair, Ms. Frida Lobo, to hand over a certificate of recognition to our trainer, Mr. Christo Chomi. Ms. Frida.
Well, thank you, Zara. And thank you, Mr. Christo Tomi, for that wonderful session. I personally love novels, movies, and stories, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would like to thank you for your time and patience throughout this entire time that we've taken for planning this event, for all those Zoom meetings, those innumerable number of calls, and above all, your utmost cooperation in helping us organize this session. On behalf of District 116, I would like to thank you for taking the time to be a part of our event. So as a token of our appreciation, you've already seen the virtual certificate. So that was just, thank you so much. Over to you, Zara.
Thank you, Ms. Farida, for that. So now, everyone, I would suggest you to go back to the room. If DTM Haris, if you could share the link.